to the very last feature that we're going to talk about today, which is managing your lists. So the lists that I'm specifically referring to are the drop-down lists that you see when you click on certain file fields within one of your files, things like vendor, payment type, category, project. You can see that you have these lists, drop-down lists that pop up. Now, each one of these file fields has its own list, and these lists are specific to that specific file field. So my vendor list is not going to show up in my list of different payment types or my list of different projects. Now, as you add new files to Neat, these lists are going to naturally get built up. And if I'm just focusing on the vendor list right now, a new vendor will be created and added to my list for every unique spelling of a vendor. So for example, I have McDonald's here, but I have 3 different McDonald's. I have a McDonald's with an apostrophe S. I have a McDonald's with a restaurant. I have a McDonald's without the apostrophe S. Additionally, your lists are also case sensitive. So if I scroll to the bottom, we can see that I actually have 3 other vendors for McDonald's. They're all just lowercase this time now. And because of this, it's very possible, it's very likely that at some point you're going to have some duplicate items within your lists. Now, there's a super easy way to resolve that. And we're going to actually talk about 4 different ways that you can manage your lists today. We're going to talk about 1, how you can add items to your lists. We're going to talk about 2, how you can easily resolve any duplicates that are created in your lists. 3, we're going to look at how you can edit items in your lists. And finally, we're going to talk about how you can delete items from your lists as well. Let's start with adding items to your list. So for this, we're going to add a new project to the project list here. Now, to add a new project to my project list, all I need to do is open one of my files and type in my new project. And then I just need to save my file. And that's it. Now that there is a document within my database that has the new project applied to it, that new project is going to be added to my project list. Now, it might not happen immediately. Like, I'm not seeing new project added here just yet. And that's because it takes a few moments for newly added items to your lists to be available in your dropdowns. It might take a few moments for that new project to be added to my list. At the very least, that new project will be available to me by the next time that I log in. And as we can see, my new project is now already available in my list. It just took a few moments to update. Now, every time that you add a new vendor, that you add a new project, that you apply a new customer to your items within your database, those items will be added to your lists. So what if you have duplicate items in your lists? Well, the easiest way for you to handle duplicate items in your lists is to merge them together. So for example, I have 3 different spellings of CVS Pharmacy here. One of them is correct. This is the correct spelling, and then I have 2 incorrect spellings. To resolve this and resolve the duplicates that I have in my list, the easiest way to do this is to merge them. To merge these items in my lists, I need to access my list management tool. To do that, I can either 1, click on my name up at the top right-hand corner and choose Manage My List here, and access my list management tool, or I can open up a file, click on the list that I want to edit, and then choose Manage My List from here, and I can also access my list management tool from here as well. So I can either scroll down to CVS Pharmacy to find it, or I can type in CVS, and now I can see all of the list items that match that. So I want to merge all of these list items into one. So I'm going to select all of them, including the correct spelling of CVS Pharmacy, and then I'm going to choose Merge Duplicates. When you merge duplicates, Neat asks you to select the version of the list item that you want to keep. So I want to keep the correct spelling of CVS Pharmacy as this one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Merge. And what's going to happen is Neat's going to work on merging those different vendors together. Now we can see when we go back to our grid view here that all of my CVS pharmacy receipts here now have the correct version of the vendor here listed. So as you can see, merging list items together accomplished two things for me. One, it removed the incorrect spellings of CVS Pharmacy from my drop-down list, effectively deleting them from my list. Two, it also updated all of my files across my database that had an incorrect spelling of CVS Pharmacy applied to it and updated it to the correct spelling, basically bulk editing files across my database for me. All right. So what if you need to edit items in your lists? Like, for example, I have this misspelled version of Lowe's right here. Now, there are really three ways that I could fix this. I could edit this specific Lowe's file and change the spelling so that it's accurate. However, I want to show you something. So let me go to my All Files folder here. Let me filter to just receipts. And let me filter to a vendor Lowe's. So I'm filtering to all files that specifically are receipts with that vendor applied to it. We can actually see that there are three files across my database in different folders that have this incorrect spelling of Lowe's applied to it. So if I just edited that one Lowe's file in my managing my lists folder, I'd still have these incorrect spelling of Lowe's somewhere within my database. So another way that I could fix this is by filtering to all of my files that have Lowe's, this incorrect spelling of Lowe's applied to it, and bulk editing them. Or even easier, I can just manage my lists because this is a vendor which has list items that I can manage. So I'm going to click on my drop down up here and choose Manage My Lists. I'm going to choose my vendor lists, and I'm going to type in Lowe's to find it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the pencil icon here. And now I'm going to update the spelling. We'll change it to Lowe's. We'll change it to the apostrophe S, and we'll save. So what's happening now is Neat's updating that spelling of Lowe's. It's going to take a moment to do that. And what we can see now is there's no files in my database with this incorrect spelling of Lowe's. So if I add this filter back and I type in Lowe's, now we can see that all of my files across my database with that incorrect spelling of Lowe's have been updated to the proper spelling. So that's a nice, easy way that you can kind of bulk edit files across your database with correct spellings and also remove incorrect spellings of your list items from your lists. So the last thing we're going to talk about in terms of lists is deleting list items. So you can't delete list items from your lists in a straightforward way. And the reason for that is because of what I just demonstrated to you. Editing your lists updates your files across your database. So if you just go into your list, your list manager here, and you just start deleting a bunch of files off your lists, you're going to start to create holes in your data because it's going to be deleting those categories or those vendors from those files across your database. And you definitely don't want to create any holes in your data. So really the best way to delete items from your list is to either one, merge unwanted list items together with list items that you want to keep, or two, edit out list items that you no longer want to keep from your database by searching for all of the files that have that list item and then, editing them to be something different. So let me show you an example. So we have my all files folder here, and we're going to add a filter for vendor. So let's say, for example, I wanted to get rid of this Aldi groceries vendor list item. There's two ways I can do it. I could merge this Aldi groceries vendor with something like, Ace Hardware. However, groceries are very different from hardware. So, I probably don't want to merge Aldi groceries with something that is not going to match the type of file it is. As we just established, when you merge items together, you get to select the the list item that you want to keep as the main list item. So what would happen is if I merged Aldi and Ace Hardware together and kept hardware and got rid of Aldi groceries, then it would update all my files across my database to Ace Hardware that were labeled as Aldi groceries. That's creating incorrect data in my database, which is another thing that we don't want. So instead, the best way to really handle this is to filter to all of the files that have Aldi groceries applied to it, and then editing this. So I can just, maybe change this to grocery store and save, and go to the next one and say grocery store and save. And now when I go back to my filter, there are going to be no files in my database that match this vendor for Aldi groceries. And additionally, you can see immediately that this vendor was removed from my vendor dropdown list because it no longer exists or is associated with any files in my database. Now, just like with adding items to your lists, when you delete when you edit items out of your list this way, it may take a few moments for that list item to be removed from your drop-down list. It might not happen instantly every time. You might need to reload. You might need to give it a few minutes for that list item to drop off, but it will eventually drop off your list as long as there are no files within your database with that list item applied to it.